Hey everybody, Jason at Cycle Stop USA. I'm here with Shane, and we have a 2000 Police Road King fuel tank. Now what's unique about these EFI systems, the earlier ones, these are Magneti Marelli, and there's basically two different types of fuel tanks. I'm not going to bore you with all the minutiae with it, but this bike is running poorly. It's been sitting for a long time. When you start it up, you can hear the pump cycle. It'll fire up, it'll idle correctly for a moment, and then it acts like it's starting to lose pressure. So we put a pressure checker on it. We have a fuel moto tool that tells us our PSI. Our PSI was a little bit low. We want to see 55 to 65, and we want to see the pressure stay there when we turn the bike off, and we're not experiencing that. So we're thinking there's something inside here. Now in some of my earlier videos, we were talking about the Delphi system. The Magneti Marelli is pre-Delphi, so it's like 1995 to mid-2001. So if you have a 2001 Road King, Ultra, anything with an EFI that's a dresser, look at the fuel lines. If you have two fuel lines on a 2001, that's Magneti Marelli. If you have one fuel line, that's only going to be a Delphi. And these are called check valves if you go to the dealership and ask them. The reason why there's two lines is you have a pressure and a return. The Delphi systems is a deadhead system with a fuel pressure regulator inside the tank. Now I don't know what we're going to find when we get in here. We've got a little bit of nasty fuel. The bike has sat for a long time. I've got my tools ready. I'm going to go ahead. I put a quarter drive socket tool on the end of my cordless drill driver, and I'm using a T20. And just as always, I'm going to try to do this video in one take with no editing. So if I screw up, you'll see that I screwed up. But I don't want to fill the video up with a bunch of fluff, basically. If you've taken one of these apart before on a Delphi system with a single check valve, this is going to look very different inside. And it's not always very easy to get out either. I don't know how Harley did this on an assembly line basis. So Shane, if you want to come in close here and take a look. So, got a couple of fuel lines. The fuel pump is there off to the side. Here's our fuel filter. You can definitely see that there's some nasty gas in here for some period of time. I'm gonna try to take the filter off here. Get this out a little bit. And that gas is really nasty. It's down smelling. Yeah, I can't imagine being on the assembly line at Harley Davidson trying to manipulate these through. See these little clamps right here? Those are called Oetiker clamps, and to put them on it requires a special tool. This is an Oetiker clamp tool, and that part number is, I believe, a 10222 at the Harley dealer for the small ones. The other ones you can pretty much get anywhere. Motion Pro makes a set. Two different part numbers, 150046 and 150047. Those are your two common sizes, and those are the part numbers from Motion Pro. I'm gonna go ahead and take this out of here, try to cut this. Just being obstinate. Trying to cut this Oetiker clamp. There we go. Take one fuel line off. The goal of this video is to actually get all these parts out of here so I can take a look at them. They used a cork seal back then. You'll want to replace that if you're taking this apart. And I got one more clamp to get off, and then I can actually pull this whole assembly out of there. If you're going to do any work like this, I would recommend getting one of these tools. You can actually buy an Oetiker tool clamp kit that comes with a bunch of clamps and the tool. It does not come with, however, a small 10222 clamp. You'll have to get those at the Harley dealer. Pretty stubborn in here. Alright, so I just sloshed gas all over everything. That sock's in pretty bad shape. See if we can take a look down in the tank. So there's a factory liner from Harley. It's gray. This one's starting to come loose in some areas. There's a significant amount of rust in the tank. Really, you don't want any rust in the tank, and I don't know if you can see back over against that wall, Shane,
the bubbling?
That bubbling on the liner. So there's still some nasty in here. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna take all the fuel out of this tank and take a look and see if we can find out why we're not getting any pressure. But the parts and pieces inside the tank on this one, you can see all this rust. Now I'm told, I talked to a guy yesterday, Scott Seeley. Talked to a guy named Scott Seeley yesterday up in Tallahassee, and he told me that he soaked his plate in vinegar, and he was able to get it to come back. But look at here at this pump. I'm thinking this pump's bad. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna disassemble all of this, and we're gonna soak all this stuff in vinegar. So that'll be video number 2. So here's where we're at right now in video number 1. We know we got the Magneti Marelli because we have 2 check valves. This is the 2000. The guy I talked to yesterday, Scott Seeley, said he had a 2001, but he saw the 2 lines. So that means it was an early 2001 with the Magneti Marelli. And I'm gonna wanna replace the fuel filter and the fuel pump. And then in the next video, we'll show you putting it back together and hopefully that it's running good. If you have any questions, you can call 813-754-2959. Ask for Shane, Shannon, or Jason. We're Cycle Stop USA in Plant City, Florida. Check us out online at www.cyclestopusa.com. And if you like our videos, leave a positive comment and subscribe down below. Thanks and ride safe.